think we're live.
Great.
So I will start here. Let's see. All right. Hey, Facebook. Hey, everyone. It's Tarrah here with Tarrah TV, where you'll learn how to get more out of life with tips, inspiration, and guidance on topics related to lifestyle, business, family, and wellness. And this week, I'm focusing on how everyday people, military people, are creating wealth and freedom by starting online businesses in their spare time. And I wanted to welcome a friend of mine to the show, Chelsey Holm. You say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Chelsey and I met on an all-expense vacation, a cruise that we took. What was it, 1 month ago? More than a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little over a month ago now. Yep.
6 weeks. Okay, so we had a great time, and I'm just gonna say Chelsey knows how to pick waiters. Just saying. Oh, I don't know how she got so good at that, but she did, and so we were happy to join in on her picks there. So we had a great waiter. Anyway, we were on the Allure of the Seas. So if you've ever been on a ship or know Royal Caribbean, very massive, and they do a wonderful job. I had such a great time. I don't know about you, Chelsey.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, totally an irreplaceable experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So today, Chelsey, I'm kind of, like I said, talking to people in the military, either that they are or are military families, and you are a military family. Just tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing and where you're at, and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So my husband and I started dating in 2006, and he joined the Army later that summer. So military has pretty much been our whole relationship. We will have been married 11 years this December. At that time, he was reserves first, and so he had a civilian job, and we stayed put. But about 5 years ago now, I think it was, he decided that he really wanted Army to be the number one thing. He wasn't real happy with his job at the time. It was a lot of big promises and a lot of underpaying and time working, and it wasn't working well for him. And so we made the shift, and he picked up mobilization to Texas, to El Paso. So we moved our whole family, and that really got the ball rolling. And while we were there, thankfully, he picked up what's called Active Guard Reserve. So that's where he still reserves, but that's his full-time job. And so we started moving frequently. And in 5 years, we moved 4 times to 4 different states. We actually moved 5 times because in one state, we ended up moving twice ourselves. So, so we've moved quite a bit.
How many kids did you have during the course of this time? You were adding to your family as you were moving.
We had 3. Yes. So we had 3 when we moved from Wisconsin to Texas. And then we just had our 4th a little over a year ago when we were in Pennsylvania. So we had her, and then she was here for 2 months, and then we moved from Pennsylvania to Missouri for 6 months, and then we moved from Missouri to California, where we are now. And we've been here since January. So moving is a big part of what we do, but it's fun. We look at it as an adventure, and it's not for everybody, but it works well for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you get to see a lot. You do get to, I guess, are you ever heading overseas, or do you think that's possibility?
It's possible, but not very likely for us, just because my husband's an engineer officer, and so there's not many options for that. I think Puerto Rico is maybe one, and maybe like 1 or 2 in Europe, but not likely. We'll probably stay in the U.S. But yeah, we don't have to be on bases. We can go anywhere there is a reserve Army component. So literally anywhere. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I just had a couple of questions for you, because I know that you have an online business, and that you one of the reasons that you're able to have that online business, or that you're able to do a job is that you have this online business. So if you could tell me a little bit just about your passion for what you do, like what makes it work for you in the military, and what the difference would be if you needed to get a real job,
Right. Yeah. So I started my health and wellness business the year that we moved to Texas. So I had only been building my business for a few months, and then we moved. And it was kind of interesting because I wasn't really sure quite yet what I was doing with it. But what I found was it gave me something that can go anywhere we go. And the fact that it's 100% mobile allows me to be present with my family and my kids. And no matter where we are, we're in the car a lot for traveling. So the great thing is I can build my business completely from my phone and do everything that I need to, no matter where we are, literally anywhere, anytime. So that's worked really, really well for me. I have a degree in Spanish. I have a Bachelor of Arts, and I've never used it. Aside from just speaking myself and, understanding other people and stuff like that. But one thing that I've never had to do, because when we had our second child, we decided that I would stay home full time. And just because childcare costs were expensive and it wasn't going to be worth it for me to keep going to work and to have to pay those high costs. So we had decided that I would stay home after we found out we were having our second. And so I hadn't worked since. And there was a point after we had our third that my husband and I had a conversation of, listen, you're going to have to go back to work once all the kids are in school. And I was like, no, I don't like that idea. I like my freedom. I like my time. I like deciding what our schedule looks like. And so that's really why I started my business. I had 3 kids in 3 years. And so my health was just a total wreck. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't really taking care of myself because I thought that that's how you take care of other people and love them, is completely emptying yourself and making sure that their cups are full.
And that a lot of time is what we're told.
Yeah. Right.
And, that's interesting you said that. Yeah. But 3 kids in 3 years, that's.
Yeah. Well, and no one talked to me about nutrition. Not even my doctor. And I had been taking a multivitamin, but it wasn't Shaklee's. And when I made that switch, my health completely changed. I went from exhausted to I now had energy to do what I needed to, but I also had energy to do what I wanted to do. So I was able to find new passions, and helping other people to feel that same way became a huge passion for me. So that's really why I got started in that. So I hadn't had interviews, right, for anything for a long time. I didn't want to do interviews again. And one thing that I learned when we moved to Missouri was military spouses have to go through crazy processes to find employment after every time they move. There's support, like an office and all of that really works with spouses to make sure that they can find a job. But depending on what you're trained in, depending on what you're trained in, and depending on where you move, there's not always availability in your specific field. And so what I found was a lot of my friends were really frustrated because, they had all of this training and schooling and degrees and all of this. And Missouri, where we moved, was very small. So it's not like a big city where there's lots of work, lots of jobs, lots of higher paying positions, right? Missouri, some of my friends were looking at getting paid minimum wage and entering numbers into a computer. And I could just see, because they wanted to work, they had that drive, but it was just frustrating to see the limitations that they were facing. And so a lot of military spouses will go back to school and earn a degree in something like nursing, which can transfer pretty universally across the U.S. But I saw that as, that's more schooling I didn't want to do. That's more money I didn't want to invest. There is some money for schooling when you're a military spouse, but it just depends on if your spouse has used it and how all that works and where you are. And so for me, this has been amazing because I don't have to interview. I don't have to look for jobs every time we move. I get to decide when I work and how I work and what I'm doing for work. And so that's been huge for me. And the fact that when we move, I have to take off like a month from everything, you know, because that's including preparation to move, including like when the movers come and pack up our house, and then we're moving and we're in transit, and, you know, all of that. It's a lot. And so the fact that I don't have to ask off for work, or I don't have to, you know, follow any of those standards that other people have to have there.
Your work continues. It doesn't actually, you keep getting paid no matter if you do work or you take that time, right?
Yes. That's been a huge factor too, is, you know, I get to do the work one time in my business, and then I get to continue to get paid for that for life, because I'm in the business of creating customers who are feeling amazing forever, not just a one-time thing and done. Like I get to work with people who love how they feel, and they want to always feel like that. And, you know, people who also want to share that with other people. So yeah, I never took a pay cut. Every time we've moved, I've actually increased my pay every time we move, because I expand my network and I help more people. So yeah, it's worked well for us.
I wanted to just mention to people watching that I am not in my home location today. We're on summer break, and my kids are at lots of different events, and this is our second stop to the high school today. And so we're at the Nat. So we'll hear some kids and coaches in a few minutes. But I want to keep going here with Chelsey and just have her talk a little bit about, now that we know a little bit about how like the military, it works as far as, you know, you've relocated and what that all looks like for the spouse, the wife, you know, your kids, you're also homeschooling, and you have this business that you're running. And so what are the things that, I mean, the best thing about your job online is the flexibility. I think that's what you've said. But is there other things that really help you stay connected to the community? Or, you know, could you talk a little bit about that aspect of it?
Yeah. So every time we move, like I said, we are not always on a base. Because of this position, we can be anywhere in the U.S. where there's an army, something or other. So it could just be a little unit, and then that's it, you know. So the units try to keep people connected, try to keep families and spouses connected to each other. But in all honesty, you meet maybe once a year for a barbecue and another time a year for a Christmas party, and that's really it. I mean, because for units, people can be like living in a different state sometimes and still come to drill at that unit. And so that community is not always there. You know, when we move, we try to find a good church that we can get connected to right away. So that gives us a sense of community and family. But what I found in my business is that because it's a global company that I get to partner with, there are people all over the place every time I move. So it's a great community for me to get plugged into, because every time we move, I'm like, hey, we're moving here. Who's in the area? Who's close by? Who can I connect with? And there's always someone. So I love that sense of community that I get from that. And they're super positive people too, you know, like meeting you and getting to work with you and do things like this. Right?
You know, we would have never met, and you met my husband too, and I can't wait to meet your husband someday too. And now we're connected in a different way, and that's just the great part about the whole networking community, is that you are able to make and develop these friendships in different ways you never would have. So I'm so thankful for that as well.
Me too. Yeah, it's so amazing, and it's positive people, right? I mean, like people who are out there making a difference, and you know, really working to help people and serve people and love people. I really love that piece of it.
Yeah.
Quality people.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I don't know if there's other things like how, I know you shared with me earlier that you are doing the same book club that I'm doing, or the same little book, and I have mine here too. I think it's probably backwards, but
mine's somewhere over here.
We're doing this together, which has been super great so far, called the God Dare. And this is one of our, not even my master coordinator upline or whatever.
Mine.
Is it? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
you're great. Anyways, she has put this together, and it's by Kate Bettistelli, Francesca Bettistelli's mom. And this has been great so far. And we are doing this book study with 70 other people in our community of workers. So that connection too is really great, and especially for people who are kind of transient like you, and just people looking to connect with people in a deeper way. So I really appreciate this group of people. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Totally agree.
What's the outlook of the military for you guys, for your family? You have a young family. You have 4 kids, and how old is the oldest?
She's going to be 8 soon. So right now we have 7, 6, 5, and then just over a year.
Okay. So your family, and what does it look like? Is there a certain amount of time that because I'm a civilian, I don't know all these. So, but I just wanted to, kind of where is the future like for you? What does it look like ahead in that way?
So typically we can expect to move every 2 to 5 years. So we just got here in January, so we'll be here for probably at least another 1.5 years. It just depends on what the military needs and where. So we have no idea where we'll go. There's a lot of last minutes in the military. If you're a civilian, you might not know that, but people ask us all the time, where are you going next? And we say, we have no idea. And we probably won't know until a month or 2 before we're moving. So, I talked about the flexibility being a huge thing. That's the reason we homeschool too, is because I like being in charge of our schedule, because I don't know how many times, my husband will come home randomly or just have a day off because of whatever, there's some holiday, or I don't even know, or he's like, hey, we got to go here. And it's great because I don't have to call my boss and be like, oh my gosh, last minute, we got to do this, or call the school, I need to pull my kids out. We can do it. It just works with that. So yeah, flexibility is a huge thing for us. And especially going forward, I love that every time we move, I get to continue to build my business, and it's not like I have to start over every time. I just get to build upon what I get to add to it. And so it's looking ahead. I'm excited because I know that there's own grow, right? And to go. And I think that this has really given us a way too, that I can give my husband options, because with the military, you're fixed in your income. You get your rank, you've got your time service, that kind of stuff. You only get paid so much. And when you advance in rank, you get paid so much, right? And when you retire, you get paid so much. There's no hey, you're getting a bonus because you're a really good soldier. There's none of that. So just the fact that I have something that is totally only limited by myself and how much I can grow myself is a really powerful thing, and really expands what will be possible for us, because my husband's going to retire at 47, which is super young.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of life ahead of us that we want to be living young, right? We want to live younger longer. We don't want to be living older longer. And so this really allows us to have both of those pieces of future planning and also our health, which I think is a huge piece that gets left out, unfortunately, a lot.
Yeah, no, that's great. And what advice would you give other maybe military families, or, that find themselves in that predicament of where they have to change the job, and it wasn't the one that they thought that they, were either trained for, or that they wanted, or feel like that is their best, that they can give their best. They're not passionate about it, but they need to do something or want to do something. And what would you say to them in that situation?
I think, really take time to explore what you're passionate about, because the beauty of network marketing, which I love network marketing, I'm a networker at heart. If I love something, I tell people about it. And if I meet somebody who needs to know somebody else, I connect them. That's just what I love to do. But find something you're passionate about. And there's an option out there for you. And there really is actually a book that I highly recommend is called, I don't know if I have it in my purse actually. It's called The 4-Year Career by Richard Bliss Brooke. I don't know if you've read that one or not, but yeah, the concept of network marketing is super powerful, and no matter what you're doing, I mean, even if you have a full-time profession, you can still do something on the side that is going to give you so many more options when it comes to making decisions in your life. You know, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, if I, you know, have a business, it has to be the only thing. Like, you want me to quit my job and do that. And like, that's not it at all. The great thing is we can work super, super part-time hours and create income that is not a part-time income, right? And so I think it's just such a powerful concept. And no matter whether you're military or not military, you know, look into getting a side hustle and creating multiple streams of income, because it's smart. And it will allow you to do the most important things in your life. Because that's what Charlene, my master coordinator, the one we're doing God Dare with, she always says, you know, my business is not the most important thing in my life, but it allows me to do the things that are. And I think that's so important.
Absolutely. She's
so
such a great leader and a person to look up to, and how they have went about with their children and making them global citizens and doing mission work with the flexibility that they have in their business. I just think it's a great opportunity for people who are mission minded to do this kind of work, which is not only just flexible, but it's helping. And typically that's something that is a strength of somebody who is in the mission work. And it gives them an income to be able to support that. And I feel like that is so important. Missions, I know I served on our mission board at church for 3 years, and I just know that there's always need for missionaries for support. And I feel like that's such a great way of doing it. I'm sure she would have a lot of insight on that topic, but she's a great leader.
I think too, like, everyone looks at network marketing as, oh, I want to get rich, right? Well, first of all, we know there's no such thing as getting rich overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And there is nothing wrong with having a lot of money. It's the love of money, right? We know that. That is the issue. Because, I mean, what if you did create a 6-figure income that you could just give away because your spouse already covers everything, you know, and you've paid off all your debts? And like, what if you had a missionary approach you and said, listen, I'm short, you know, X amount of money, and you could just say, great, here's a check.
Yep.
And my business has allowed me to do that, you know, and yeah, it's such a powerful thing if you really grasp the concept of network marketing and what it actually is.
Yeah, and that book is great, The 4-Year Career, again, by Richard Bliss Brooke. And I met him in Chicago in December and took his course there. And I love the book. It's an easy read. I know I would love a copy of it, or Chelsey would love to hand you off a copy if it's something that you're interested in. You can comment below. Well, Chelsey, is there anything else that you would just say wrapping up here? Like, you know, what, anything that you just want to share that's on your heart, or that people would want to know?
I think just the fact that you have dreams in your heart, only you know them, probably. They're not there for no reason. God has placed them there, and he's given you certain skills, and he's also given you certain weaknesses, right? So that his strength can be amplified. You know, maybe he's calling you into something that you feel totally unqualified for. I know I felt totally unqualified to have a network marketing business because I was like, all those limitations of I don't know anybody, like I can't talk to anybody, I don't like sales, I don't, you know, and I just had to learn that, you know, I can be taught. Not yet. Just not yet, in a little bit. You know, it's park days. Everyone wants to go to the park every day. But God put these dreams in our hearts, and don't ignore it. You know, when you hear that still small voice that's saying, gives you an idea, like, don't let your brain tell you all the reasons you can't. Just embrace it. And I think that for you and I, this is why both of our interview series have come out, because we had that little voice and we ran with it before our brain could be like, oh, no. That's scary.
You know what's funny is that Chelsey and I had this, I believe, almost at the same time.
Yes.
Like literally the same morning. And it was interesting.
Totally amazing.
We've talked about that. It was just crazy. So it's definitely something that we're supposed to do, right? I mean,
Right.
you know,
Don't let yourself talk yourself out of it. Like, just do it. Just do the action, and God will help you along the way with the resources or the people or whatever it is you need to do what he's asking you to do. Just do it.
yep. God gave Moses Aaron, right? And so
Right?
if I'm not, he'll equip me, you know? So
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
So, well, thank you so much for joining me today, Chelsey. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank
And
you.
you know, if you are watching this and you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur, I encourage you to reach out to myself or Chelsey and, you know, schedule an appointment or a tour of my online classroom evaluation just to see if it's something that might be right for you. If you're interested in health and wellness at all or learning more about it, we'll go over like benefits that are offered, the systems we use, how to create sales without selling, and you know what products we use, and the options for getting started. Which options for getting started right now are
Amazing.
fabulous. So
Totally.
if you're interested in any of that information, just connect with one of us and we'd be happy to tell you about it. So thank you, Chelsey, and your little children who are running around in the background and not taking naps. But it's park day, right? So
Right. Every day is park day.
in California, it's wonderful, I'm sure, but here it's raining and it's like 60s.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Come here.
I know. We will see you
Just
in.
for a vacation. Just for a vacation, though. It's quite expensive here.
So hard to come back to that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chelsey. And I'm going to stop the Facebook Live. And I just appreciate you being on Tarrah TV today.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Thanks. And